When you're a new parent, there is seriously nothing more exciting than when your baby starts talking. Like that first word, we were just over the moon. It was just mind blowing to hear this little person that we've known for so many months say a word. And she knew what word she was saying, and it was just like, wow. So I just want to start by saying I am a mom of an 18-month-old child who was an early talker. If your baby isn't talking yet, that is not a big deal. You know, there are lots of people that don't talk until they're 3 or 4 years old, and then they go on and they get PhDs. So it seriously doesn't matter if your baby doesn't start talking right away. If you are worried about developmental delays, you can talk to your pediatrician. I am getting a degree in education. I am not a pediatrician. I am not a speech therapist, but I do read a lot on speech therapy. I've read a lot of statistical studies and scholarly research papers, and I have done a ton of reading in a lot of different things having to do with education and child development. I have 2 associate's degrees, one in liberal arts, one in social science, which did involve me doing some study in human development, anthropology, a lot of cool things like linguistics. I have a degree in English, and I'm currently studying to get my master's in education. So I do have a little bit of a background in this, plus all of the reading that I've done over the 18 months. So that's where this information is coming from. The first tip that I can give you to help get your child to start talking is talk to your baby as much as possible. When I first started researching this, my baby was very brand new, and I read that you're supposed to be saying about 900 words an hour to them, and that blew my mind. I was like, that sounds like a lot of words. I have not counted how many words I've said in an hour between then and now. I have no idea. I just try to aim for, quality and quantity and hope that I'm hitting the right numbers, and it has worked out so far. So things that you can say to your baby that are going to be useful, like if you don't know what to say to your baby, because I didn't, I read some useful tips. You can use words to describe the things around you, like when the water is hot, hot, when the water is cold, cold, just describing things that are just really, useful words are the words that you can use to help your baby learn to talk. Now, repetition is really helpful. So every time I pick up my baby, and I've been doing this since they were probably about 6 months old, I would always pick her up, and every time I would say the words up, up, up. And sometimes I'd say up, 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 mommy, and I would just kind of make it this thing that I would say every time, so she was so used to hearing it. I would also, every time I laid my baby down to change her diaper, say to her, I'm laying you down gently. We're taking your pants off. And I'd talk to her and then use the same verbiage every time. And my sister, who has a number of children, remarked that she hadn't done that, but she thought it was a really great idea. I had read it in an article, somebody who was far more intelligent than myself and far more knowledgeable regarding these matters. I'm just, lucky to have found that advice early on and been able to use it. It did really help me with my baby. Here we are 18 months later, and saying up, up, up to her for all those months has translated to her saying up when she wants up, and when she's trying to climb up onto things and wants help, or when I'm trying to take a shower and she wants me to pick her up off the floor and hold her while I'm trying to bathe myself. Yeah, so sometimes I have to tell her no, but she can tell me up and we can have a discussion about it. So that's pretty cool. The second thing that you can do to help your baby learn to talk is to read to them as much as possible. So the pediatrician told me when my baby was brand new I should read to her 20 minutes a day. And after the first month I go back in for my checkup with the baby. And the pediatrician says, so have you been reading to her? I'm like, no, I've been talking to her and singing to her. Is it really that important? He says, yes, it's really that important. It makes a huge difference in baby development. So I started reading to her. Her dad had been reading to her, so he did really cover that base for me. Thank you, Sean. And I started reading to her more and more. And her dad was reading to her every day too. And we were exceeding the 20-minute mark. So by the time she was just several months old, she was turning the pages and picking up books and handing them to us and wanting us to read to her. It was really exciting when she started turning the pages and started really showing interest in the books so early on. And that really does lead to a love of learning. But more than anything, these words in the book are sometimes words that you wouldn't use naturally. You know, like you might find yourself just saying the same stuff to your baby over and over again. The books are a source of what linguistic specialists call rare words, or words that you don't use all the time. There's a book that we have called Peekaboo Forest. I'll go ahead and link to the Peekaboo Forest and some other books in the description. But Peekaboo Forest has the word achiever in it. I would have never said achiever to my baby at like 3 months old, but she's heard it over and over again now because she's read this book a million times, and it's a good word for a baby to hear. And it's really adding to the complexity of their vocabulary and their neural network and the words that they're using to build their concepts of the world around them. So, I mean, these books that you wouldn't have written yourself, that somebody else took the time to think up and write, really can help you build your baby's vocabulary and work on adding words to their vocabulary. Sometimes I just don't know what to say to my baby. Sometimes I'm tired. I'm also going to school full time. Sometimes I'm thinking about school and I find myself just really stuck in my head. So being able to just pick up a book and just read the book that we've read before that she likes, you know, just really gives me something to say to her so that I'm interacting with her and I'm talking to her and I'm not just zoning out. This one's a really good one. And I got this recommendation from another speech therapist. I can link their information in the description as well. That way, if you need more information about speech therapy or other tips to go further with helping your baby to learn to talk, Raising Little Talkers is a really great Instagram account. That's where I found this book and got that recommendation. But the baby really likes these books because they have flaps that the baby can lift, and so the baby can interact with the book more than just turning the pages. Kids love these flap books. And these ones that Karen Katz wrote are really great because they use concepts like what's behind this, what's in front of that, what's underneath, you know, like concepts that really help the baby solidify their understanding of the world and build their vocabulary in a very useful way. So I'll go ahead and I'll link these books in the description as well. This is a book by a speech therapist. It came in a set of 3 really, really pretty illustrations, really great for teaching your baby how to talk. And so these ones are board books. They're really great for little babies so that they don't rip the pages. But just really high quality board books that I've gotten a lot of use out of. So I'll go ahead and link those in the description as well. Books. Nothing more priceless than reading books to your baby. If you want more information on why this is so helpful, I took a human development class when I was younger, and the professor was absolutely brilliant. And he said the most important thing that you can do for your kids is to read to them daily. And he recommended a book called the Read Aloud Handbook. So if you're looking for more information about reading to your children and the long-term benefits of that, this book, Reading Aloud Handbook, is what I would recommend checking out. The third most important thing that you can do to help your baby learn to talk is positive reinforcement. So the first time my baby ever said a word, I was sitting on the couch with her. I mean, she had babbled and like made sounds that could have sounded like words, but I mean, like we didn't know if she knew what she was saying when she was like 4 or 5 months old. But the one time, the first time, I knew she knew what she was talking about. We were reading a book that I'd read to her a bunch of times before. I should have brought it. It's in the other room and she's taking her nap in there right now, and I'm not going to go grab it because it took a long time to get her down for a nap today. So the book, anyways, has a picture of a cat on every page, and I was pointing to the different things on the page. I'd read the book to her a million times. Instead of just reading the book, I was talking about what were on the pages. There's a mommy, there's a baby, there's a cat. And she looks at the cat, and she says, cat. And I'm like, did you just say cat? And she kept saying cat. And my husband, her dad, was right over there hearing her say cat, and we both flipped out. Like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Yay, baby. Just like praising her over the top. She said cat for so many months after that. She, every time saw a cat, she would say cat. Every time she saw a dog, she would say cat. I took her to the aquarium. She saw dolphins. What did she say? Cat. When she wanted our attention, she would say cat. If something was cool and she liked it, she would say cat. She would wake up in the middle of the night, say cat, and fall back asleep. So positive reinforcement really does encourage your babies. And it's the best way to help them, you know, associate the words that they're saying with what they're trying to communicate and reaffirm that connection. So I was going to school a few months ago. I still am going to school, but I had a babysitter that was helping me for a while. And she would watch the baby in like the living room, dining room area while I'm in here. This is the guest room slash office slash all sorts of things. And I have the door open, and she's showing the baby a little toy owl. And my baby says, hoo hoo. And I've told her an owl says hoo hoo a million times, but I'd never heard her say it. I stopped what I was doing with my homework, ran into the other room, and said to her, yeah, that's right. The owl does say hoo hoo. That's right, my smart girl. Good job, baby. You know, just by giving her that praise at the moment that she said the word, that's reaffirming the behavior. So when you hear your baby say a word, you need to acknowledge it. You need to praise them. You need to interact with them appropriately for the word that they're saying. Like I said, my baby says up, up, up while I'm trying to take a shower. I'm sure I'm not the only one. You're probably dealing with this too if you're a mom. If you're not dealing with it right now, you're going to. I acknowledge her. I say, I realize that you are saying up, up, up. I know you want me to pick you up. I am not going to pick you up right now. I am going to take a shower. I'll be out in a minute. But I at least acknowledge what she's asking for. She says candy so many times a day. Whose fault is that? Probably mine. But if she's not going to get candy, I'll just tell her, no, you don't need candy right now. I acknowledge that she's saying candy, that I understand her. It reaffirms the behavior of using words. But, you know, she doesn't get candy every time she says it. Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay, so those are the 3 things I wanted to cover. If you need more information on teaching your baby how to talk and you're looking for something, you know, beyond these 3 simple things, if you're looking for more intensive help, I would check out Raising Little Talkers on Instagram or talk to your pediatrician. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you liked my video. If not, I'm sorry. I'm trying. I really am. I'm a tired mom going to school full time and taking care of a baby, and it's been a hell of a day. I hope you have a good one, though. Wishing you the best on your journey and with everything you're doing. Best of luck to you and your family.